Hey guys, welcome back to Purgatory.
Purgatory.
You're not getting the video you were supposed to get this week, so you're getting this one instead. You're welcome. Because you weren't going to get anything like this for a while, especially fanfic content, so thank the world, the universe, for making my life hard. We are going to be looking at the most popular Omegaverse fanfiction on Ao3, and then we're going to use a random number generator to figure out what chapter, or some of the chapter that we're going to be reading. We are not going to be reading entire chapters. Do you think I have the time for that? Maybe on stream one day. Wait, I would immediately get in trouble. What am I talking about? Banned immediately. Let us begin. So immediately, I'm in pain. Immediately, I regret everything. Immediately, this was a bad idea. Fine, I won't. So we'll be skipping over that real quick and immediately. What else were we expecting, though? This is Omegaverse. If there's Omegaverse, there's rape. Always. And I like how it's always rape slash non-con. Imagine if we just called rape non-con. Bucky and Steve from the MCU. When the police uncover a hidden sub-basement. Is that like a term? Or is it like... Anyway. When the police uncover a hidden sub-basement in the home of criminal Alexander Pierce and find a tortured Omega and his 3 pups. That's good. When the police uncover a hidden sub-basement in the home of criminal Alexander Pierce and find a tortured Omega and his 3 pups, they bring him to the Stark Omega Clinic, a non-profit dedicated to rehabilitating traumatized Omegas, as they should. After dark in September 2005, 14-year-old Bucky Barnes vanished. 11 years and 3 pups later, he is far from the boy that went missing from the suburban neighborhood outside of Denver. Steve Rogers is an alpha of some means. When he came into money, he decided to use what he had for good and sign up as a candidate to be a support alpha for his close friend Tony's charitable clinic. When he takes on the task of helping reintegrate Bucky and his pups into the world, he doesn't expect to fall so hard. Okay, interesting. So Steve's the alpha and Bucky's the omega. Though I guess if you do watch like everything, I guess that does kind of make sense, right? Because like the end with Bucky and he's like all soft. I guess. I just want to add, it's so strange. It's like almost every time there's an Omegaverse fanfic, there is always like they're always escaping the worst situation. Like the Omega's always like literally escaping sex trafficking every single time. And like they have like several kids at like 4 years old after being sex trafficked, and then they're rescued by their future alpha. 2 months later, they're together. 2 months later, they're together and everything's fine. And everything's fine. And even if everything isn't fine, that's not the time to be writing a romance. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. That's not the time. And it's really telling that they always feel the need to include that. Especially when Omegas are based off of women and Alphas are based off of men. It's just so telling. 3,000... 327, wait, 3,000, that's a lot. 14,212 kudos. Too many. Oh, I forgot that we're supposed to be reading a chapter. Oh, but I assume it's not between them. I assume it's not between them. All right. All right, how many chapters are there? 25. Already regretting this. Already. 8. Let's go chapter 8. We'll just read until I can't take it anymore. How about that? How long am I going to be filming this video? Steve suspected Bucky had something up his sleeve for his birthday, but he didn't know for sure until the day arrived. It's chapter 8. He woke up in his bed with Bucky tucked under his chin like he preferred to sleep, and the pups curled up where they found room in the mess of pillows and blankets. Bucky whined when Steve pulled away, but relented when Steve said, "Gotta pee, Buck." Steve bumbled out of bed into the master bath. After relieving himself, he surveyed himself in the mirror while he washed his hands. Riatus? Bedhead aside, Steve looked better than he had in a long time, almost younger. Pause. I thought he was already young. Pause. Wait, okay. Okay, so if this one was written in 2016, and in 2005, Bucky was 14. Well, we don't know the difference between them. It should be fine. I just had to pause there. If you know anything about the Omegaverse, you know why I had to pause. It was important. He thought that the addition of Bucky and the pups to his household will be a stressful endeavor, and it was sometimes, but the reward outweighed the cost. Bucky didn't dissociate nearly as much as he did in the beginning. George, who? Oh, George could read simple books now. Becky no longer... Okay. Becky no longer struggled to hold drawing utensils correctly. Wynn loved to touch. Oh, a child. Wynn loved to touch and explore everything she came across. The progress made was their own, but Steve liked to think that he provided an environment that enabled them to get better. I mean, yeah, I guess. Not the alpha already taking credit. It is, to me, kind of a strange thing to think. Thinking about the circumstances, but maybe that's just me. In the mirror, he watched Bucky approach, his hair as haywire as Steve's and his mouth open in a yawn. He wrapped his arms around Steve's middle from behind and nuzzled his face between Steve's shoulder blades. Affection burst beneath Steve's rib cage. He couldn't help but the stupid smile that spread across his face, big and goofy. Good morning, Steve greeted. Bed's cold without you, Bucky grumbled back. Bucky didn't like to be cold. Steve fortunately ran hot, but in the absence of Steve's body heat, Bucky liked to burrow under an actual pile of blankets regardless of what the temperature was outside. It's disgusting. Steve shifted around to draw Bucky against his chest instead and aimed a kiss at the top of Bucky's head. He worried for half a heartbeat that he overstepped his boundaries, but Bucky didn't flinch away. He leaned into the touch and hummed. The aroma of contented Omega rolled out around them in hypnotic waves. Instinct nagged Steve to scent Bucky and breathe him in deeper, but scenting wasn't something he could do on an alpha whim, not to a traumatized Omega. You need a shower, Bucky complained into Steve's neck. Steve laughed. He said, if you can let me go, I can take one. Nunk. Bucky grunted to that, but let his arms fall back to his sides. He tucked a lock of hair behind his ear and said, want me to start coffee for you? You're a saint, Steve said. Bucky snorted and said, well, that's a lie. I'll take that as a yes. You want me to make coffee? Yes, please, Steve answered. It is boring. Steve smiled when he stepped over the lip of the bathtub and switched on the shower. He hadn't done anything extravagant for his birthday since he turned 21. A few short months before Bucky's abduction, he realized with a pang. And though this morning was no different than any morning had been recently, the morning did feel luxurious in comparison to birthdays past. Last year, Steve woke alone. I'm bored. It's fine. Wait, should I just scroll instead of just leaving? Let's scroll. I got something on my face or something? Bucky asked, rubbing at his double chin. Steve said, nah, I just like looking at you. The apples of Bucky's cheeks went pink. He said, you fucking nerd. How does that make me a nerd? Steve asked. You're nice to look at. That's an objective fact. Well, that's not how that works. I think you're full of shit, Bucky said, but thanks, I guess. Steve felt like a heel for wanting to wrap Bucky up in his arms and crush them together, for wanting to stick his nose into Bucky's neck and get as much of Bucky's scent as he could all over him. Stupid alpha hindbrain. That's all the impulses were. Sure, Steve had never actually felt a desire to possess somebody in the way that he wanted to possess Bucky, but no, that wasn't right. He didn't want to possess Bucky. Bucky was a person, not a cell phone or a cup of coffee or a pet. Steve did want to protect Bucky, though. Okay, that's that. It's fine, I guess. It's mildly cringy, but is it? Well, to be entirely honest, if it's not rape, sexual assault, abuse, underage, big age difference, then I'm good. Honestly, maybe 10 out of 10. The bar is lower than the devil could limbo underneath. But it did still meet the bar. Honestly, could have been a lot cringier, could have been a lot worse, and it wasn't even bad. I mean, I wasn't, good, but it wasn't even bad. Good job. Yay! I'm not rating these. That would take too much. Okay. I don't know who these people are. Let's hope they're not real people. An ABO world written by an author who doesn't know shit about Omegaverse. Instead of dying of QI deviation, an alpha accidentally knocks up an Omega Shenjiu. An Omega. Meanwhile, the Omega discovers he is now a baby, and his parents happen to be the two peak lords from an ABO version of the Stallion novel that angered him to death. Also, the protagonist is now his babysitter. What? Okay, so the alpha is Liu, and the Omega is Shen. Shen is an Omega, and he's a baby. And, okay, wait, that's all I had to do. Oh! 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 I knew it all along. No, I knew it all along. I was playing you guys. Okay, so it's a show. Okay, what are you doing? Stop. Stop! No! What are you doing? Stop this behavior! Alright, 42 chapters. Entirely too many. 29! Dang, dang, dang. Let's go 20. Oh, they are titled. Ours is titled. Wait, what was it? 29. Not 49, you idiot. Daddy Jun. Alright, let's read about Daddy Jun. When Cucumber Bro was swallowed by the giant snake, Shang went into full panic mode. Fear and cowardice tossed aside, Shang ran into the giant serpent as well. After! Whoa! Hopping onto a sword and flying at a speed he never knew he could achieve before. Bro has a flying sword he rides on. Wish that was me. However, when... Okay, I need to learn. Hello?
So without further ado, let's dive into today's word, 竹子, which means bamboo shoots in Chinese. Let's say it all together. 竹子. One more time. 竹子. Now let's split the word
Wait,
into
no.
syllables
Wait.
and then pronounce each syllable one by one. Shoe.
Shoe.
Z.
Shoozy.
Thank you for
What?
joining us on this
No.
adventure. Today's word, 竹子,
Shoes.
which means bird. 竹子. Which
Juza.
means bird. 竹子.
Juza.
Bird. 竹子.
Juza.
Bird. 竹子.
Juza.
Which means
It's Z because I'm embarrassed. However, when Z and L both disappeared from his view, he realized that there was little he could do alone. There's only one giant snake character in his novel that had a name, Z-Lang, the demon general who was, TJ's nephew and subordinate. Like L, he was also part heavenly demon. Shang stood no chance against him. Still, he could not leave things like this. Cucumber Bro might be an asshat to him, but he was still a good buddy. In the midst of his panic, only MJ's face appeared in his head. He ran off and activated the special talisman that would bring him straight to MJ's residence. He ignored all the curious looks from the other demon servants. So what? Where? In like heaven, hell, where are we? Who appeared to be busy lifting furniture and carrying sacks of expensive-looking ceramics. He moved at full speed toward MJ's room. The moment he saw MJ sitting at his desk, Shang could not help but burst into tears as he lunged at the ice demon. My king, please, you have to help. MJ was taken aback by his sudden appearance and outburst. He gathered the weeping Ending Peak Lord to his arms and pinched his chin to lift his face up. Shang, what happened? Cold fingers gently cupped his face, and Shang was finally able to breathe again. Thank God. Z appeared. Z-Lang. MJ frowned. The snake general, he took away. My king, please, you have to help. He is just a small child. Even if he's a little mean, he's still my friend. What is happening? Calm down, Q. Tell me the whole story, MJ said, and help to make him set properly. I'm going to be entirely honest. I am focusing so much on the names that I don't know what's happening. I have no clue what's going on, and this is very interesting, I do have to say. Wedding dress. It's your wedding dress. It was passed down through generations and was last worn by my mother, but I had it retailored to be yours. Who are these people? Who is Cucumber Bro? Who is human? So, lesson learned. Do not jump into chapter 29 of a fic you haven't read before. But someone is furious. L has arrived, and needless to say, he is extremely furious. Okay. No assault happened. No, you know what I mean? It still met the bar. So therefore, it's completely good and fine and great and fantastic. And I loved it even. I want to say that this was a learning opportunity. It helped me to learn names I wouldn't have before. But it didn't. I just realized how bad I am at everything. What a humbling moment. What a humbling moment for me. Was made in February 2021. That was a while ago. And the hits are many. And the kudos are 13,872. Nice. Okay. So what I'm getting is that I'm going to be struggling today. Oh dang, abandoned work unfinished and discontinued, and still it makes the top. For the most yo, that's that would make me pick it back up. November 2018, lots of hits. Okay, thank you for that. And kudos 13,605. Aaron is one of the few alphas who go into rut without the presence of an omega and heat nearby, and after suppressing it for nearly 2 years, the drugs are no longer working. As a last resort, he heads to an omega refuge, hoping to find a suitable but temporary mate. That is so valid. When he finds one lost in the fatal red heat, he'll do whatever it takes to ease his suffering. Oh my god, what does that mean? Probably a lack of consent. When Levi's fist sounded against the wood, the alpha did not open it right away. Leaned into it, pressing his forehead against the smooth surface, felt the pull of the omega on the other side, just as he had the first day in the shelter. A whole new kind of gravity that tugged him not down to the earth, but straight towards Levi. The laws of the universe shifting to bring them closer together, and Aaron could not resist their inevitability. Okay, what chapter are we reading? Red Heat, 38 chapters. There are too many chapters in all of this. Like, I've had enough. 7. Chapter 7. React. Like I'm doing right now. Whoa. Oh my god. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hello, demonetization. Let's go. Aaron heard Levi whine over his own snarling, and Omega's cry coming from that throat with traces of fear in it, and it took him a few moments, raise your standards, to figure out why. The alpha forgot about whoever was at the door, pushing his aggression back to focus on his omega, who was trembling now. He was calling out an answer, growling, rubbing his face against Levi's as he soothed him with those deep vibrations. I am also soothed by deep vibrations, if you know what I mean. It was not impossible to pull out of an... Pause. It was not impossible to pull out of an omega, you had nodded, but it was extremely painful for them, while an alpha felt little to no discomfort. Of course they wouldn't. Usually only a bonded pair would not, so it wasn't really a concern for most omegas. If they were close enough with an alpha that they nodded, they did not need to worry about their mate carelessly hurting them. Is that how that works? But Levi thought Aaron was going to force them apart, pull out of his omega to face what his instincts were interpreting as a threat. The alpha's hands were on Levi's face, thumbs brushing over his cheekbones as he made soft shushing noises, pushing his hips up flush against the omega to draw them closer together. Shh, no, Levi, I'm not going anywhere. I wouldn't hurt you like that. Levi looked confused, and when his eyes went wide, Aaron knew that the omega hadn't even realized he was making any noise. The sound cut off abruptly, and Levi bit his lip, brow furrowing. The cry had come out automatically, seeking to protect himself from the agony of a forced unknodding. That is actually really valid. That's really sad. He looked embarrassed, gaze dropping down and a flush painting his cheeks. There was another round of loud knocking, door rattling under the impact of an angry fist. The omega looked up to Aaron with a question in his eyes, and the alpha was easing those dark strands out of his face, expression soft and affectionate. They can bang on that fucking door all they want. I'm not answering it until the knot releases. Good. Alpha, raise your standards. Omegas. Levi buried his face into the alpha's chest, arms curling into himself as relief flowed through him. He hadn't even known he was afraid, yet this alpha was soothing him. How long do they last? Those hazy slurred words made Aaron smile. Levi had no personal experience with knots, nor did any of the omegas he knew. It was impossible to knot an unwilling omega, and those he dealt with were all unbonded. Mating was not something that alphas and omegas tended to discuss openly with the people they were not close with. I mean, yeah. And Levi had no interest in it anyway. Now he wished that he paid a little bit more attention. They always do. The alpha was still stroking Levi's dark locks. Right? Hello? Oh, I'm correct. The alpha was still stroking Levi's dark locks, the other hand rubbing slow circles under the omega's back. When he spoke, Levi could feel the words hot and breathy, where Aaron had his face pressed in close to the omega's hair. I'm struggling. It's different for everyone I hear. Never dealt with it myself, obviously. Anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour. Supposedly, if an alpha senses a threat when he is knotted, it will release faster. Maybe this qualifies. Either way, they can knock until their knuckles bleed, or they can break down the door and I'll take that knife on the table and cut them open. Valid. This is gonna keep going, and I feel like we should go. So we're trying to figure out what's going on and who is knocking out the door. Aaron can only think of 2 people it might be. And he found himself growling again at the thought until Levi began to tense in his arms, scent going sharp with nervousness. Yeah, be a little bit more aware. The Alpha resumed his easy motions, combing his fingers through the Omega's hair, tracing them gently up his back, silencing the vicious sounds that want to escape. Sorry, just pissed the fuck off right now at whoever thinks it's a good idea to come fuck with me while I'm knotted in my Omega. Levi snorted, nuzzling in closer to Aaron's skin, not correcting the Alpha when he said my Omega. That's what I was thinking. I was like, anyway. And Aaron wanted to shout in triumph, even though it meant next to nothing. It's not like they know that we're tied up. His voice was still a little mumbly, and God, Aaron he wanted to hear him all day. They could only be one of 2 people. Emir, there to fight Aaron for scent marking Historia. Okay, so we're done. Oh, are we not done? I don't know what's happening right now, but it's going down. OMG. OMG. Aaron's growl shot louder, everything in him wanting to jump at this Alpha, infringing on his territory, tear him open, leave him bruised and broken. His Omega was inside in heat, waiting for him, still suffering under the strain of his hormones. Needed Aaron there to give him relief from it, yet here was this Alpha he did not know, keeping him from Levi, looking at Aaron like he owed him something. I owe you nothing, Alpha. Everything here is mine. He tried to tell him that, tried to get the words out over the animal noises he was making, but found he could not. That was okay. These bestial sounds said all Aaron needed to say. I'm not here to fuck with you, Alpha. My friend is in there. Once I make sure all of this is okay with him, I will leave, but not until then. Okay, that's actually valid. And you need to stop arguing. And you need to let him in so that he can figure it out. I have no context here, but I'm right. Oh my god. And that's that. Hello! That was crazy. That was crazy. I am so lucky. So lucky. Thank you, gods. That it gave me the chapter after what seemed to be the sex. That was still a little bit, I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. How many have I read so far? 1, nope. We forgot, we ignored that one. 1, 2, 3. Should I stop here? And just make, no, should I make this a series? No, no! Here's this. And then, oh lovely, Hannibal. And then Genshin Impact. And then Supernatural, of course, the beginning of it all. Don't know what that is. Hate that. Sherlock, oh! Switch these around. In a world where Omegas are the property of the elite Alphas, locked away and treasured by those wealthy enough to buy them, John never questioned his flatmate's secondary gender. Sherlock Holmes was an Alpha through and through. Wasn't he? A chance discovery. Have I read this? No, I sure have not. You want to know if I've read this? No, I haven't. Holmes was an Alpha through and through, wasn't he? A chance discovery turns the world on its head, and John is left grappling, to come to terms with Sherlock's past as events conspired to threaten their future. Slay! Wait, why does it sound good? Anyway, we know that I'm a John Luck girly, so... Oh, another one? Another one! Another one! John is respectful. John keeps his distance. He doesn't look at Sherlock, and when Sherlock decides his trousers are for dull people, he doesn't breathe in and savor it when Sherlock flings himself onto the couch first thing in the morning, wafting Alpha scent. Oh, interesting! Dressing gown settled around him in a cloud of blue silk. He doesn't linger when he's piecing... He doesn't linger when he's piecing Sherlock back together after a fight, even though he's half-dressed and beautiful and right there. He can ignore it. He can control it. I bet he can't. Wait, it's only... I had to have read this before. I don't want demonetization. Well, that's that. Forever. Series? No. We don't need a series. A series for what? Pain? Nah, if you guys want this to be a series, it will be. I guess. But this was just stressful for me. And actually completely not what I was expecting. Granted, I didn't like read the entire fic, or even like the very beginning, and I kind of jumped right into it. But it still was just like tame. There was like no assault yet. Actually, like good thoughts. Like good, crazy, good alphas. I know. It's crazy. I'm like in shock right now. Like, it was so boring. Affectionate. 2 genuine questions. 1, how did you guys like what we read? Because I feel like I can't process it. And 2, do you guys know these fandoms? Because I do not. Or at least the last 2, and then the first one. I just don't. I just don't read them. Never have. Never will. Well, I guess that's not true. 'Cause I just did. Ship them? I don't ship them. Are you guys in any of the fandoms that we just read? I know it was only 3, and I'm sorry. Have you guys heard of them? If so, give me some information because I know nothing. And I will not be attempting to get rid of my Jon Snowness. I have to go edit this and get it posted. Oh my god, in 12 hours. So I have to edit it and make sure it's posted in 12 hours. So I'm gonna go do that. I don't know if you guys liked the video. I don't know if I liked this video. I'm in a daze, in a haze, in a maze of pain. And this is why you don't talk. If you liked the video, press the like button. If you disliked the video, press the like button. Because the dislike button actually doesn't exist. If you made it this far, I want you to comment a fire emoji. I was gonna say a heat emoji. A fire emoji, a wolf emoji, and a book emoji. I don't think I've done those yet. Let me know if I'm wrong. I don't want to get the hat. Can I not? Because then I have to get up and I have to find it, and I don't know where it is. I could not find my hat, so I hope this is an acceptable replacement. I guess I should get her closer, huh? But do remember to be a good person and not a bad one, obviously. Because it's the one rule of this kingdom, the one law of this kingdom. It's really not that hard. And also remember that I will not see you, but you will see me next time, of course, because again, that's how videos work. She probably wants down, so I'll throw her. Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry. I have to go edit. No. No. The Levi